All right, so we have the floor done. So the next thing we're going to do is to create a wall behind the floor. And with this wall, we're actually going to start to introduce some color and some lighting. Okay, and that's what's going to help us give this floor a much more realistic look. So what we're going to do is just go right here, click this arrow that points up, and have it pointing down. It's going to create this mode for us. Right now we have this view. What we want to do is to create another voxel. So you see a plus sign and a minus sign. We're going to click on the plus, and now we can just move this out the way. So let's get this in its own little area like that. Now what we want to do is yours would be on perspective camera when you first start. We're going to change it from perspective to free. So now we can move around a little easier, okay? Now, if any of you are kind of familiar with playing online games, usually the WASD keys on your keyboard are what you use to walk around. So that's kind of how I work with it here. So on your keys, if you were to press D on your keyboard, you can move to the right, A, you can move to the left, S, you can move to the back, and W, you can move forward. So I kind of like to move around as if I was playing a game, just like that. With my mouse, if you were to right click on your mouse, you can actually move this around. So that's kind of how I work with it. All right, cool. So now let's do this. What we're going to do is to make a wall in the back. So what we're going to do is to click here, make sure that it's pointing up. And we're going to be using the face tool to make a wall. So just click that. And what the face tool does is it helps you create a full object, and then it helps you thicken the object, or it can help you get rid of the thickness in the object. Easiest way to kind of think of this is think of Pinocchio, right? Every time Pinocchio lies, his nose gets bigger. So we have our face tool. Make sure you're on attach, and the color we're using right now is gray. So every time Pinocchio lies, there's his first lie. We click it again, it's another lie, and another lie. Now Pinocchio tells the truth. That's where you want to touch this erase. One truth, another truth, and another truth. Okay, pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So now the wall is pretty thick now. What we want to do next is to turn on our erase and go to our box tool. So now we're going to erase some of these in here, but only what we selected. So remember over here, this is where it shows our X, Y, and Z axis. Keep that in mind. We're going to go from here and we're going to count 2. 1, 2. So now we're on the third one. We're going to click that in, and you can see that it's getting rid of the layer on top. Okay. So I think we want to go from 36Z, and let's make that 4X. So as you can see, 36Z X4. We're going to count 2 again. Same thing. So we're just going to keep repeating that. And here we don't really have that much space, but no worries. We can just create one here just to fill it up a little bit. And yeah, next thing we're going to do is to go back to our face tool and make sure that it's still on erase, right? So remember, we added 3 inside. So that means now we can just click and it goes in a little bit deeper. So then it's only showing the last one. If we were to click it again, it's gone. So let's bring that back. Command Z or Control Z if you're on Windows. And we're going to do that same thing to each one of these. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so now that we have that part out the way, what we're going to do next is to start adding in some color. Okay, so right now, as you can see, we have this gray right here. What we're going to do is just to click on something that's empty. So we're going to click the one right next to it, right? Now it's still on gray. What we want to do is to turn this color into something different. If it isn't already open, just go down here where it says color, click, and you'll be able to see all your different colors. We're going to create a light. So somewhere around blue and white would be really good for this. So let's try this. And as you can see right here, our color will actually pop up so we can see it in real time as we're looking. Awesome. So that's a nice color to work with. What we're going to do is to do attach and make sure you're still in the face mode. We're going to do this for each one. Just like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is to start actually adding in the light. So to do that, just go to render mode. And then you want to make sure that you're still on this color, okay? Because if you were to change it to something else, it won't affect the blue that we created. It'll affect whatever's already highlighted. So make sure that you're highlighted on your blue. So you want to go to the right where it shows all in this cube, this camera, and these photos. Make sure that you go from diffuse into emissive, okay? So this is your emissive material. Just click right there and automatically you can already see that it changed how this look. Okay, so what we're going to do is to make this light up. So our power is turned off. What you want to do is just to push it up a little bit, and we're going to push up our emission. As soon as we push the emission up, you see this light up. Okay, so you can go crazy if you want, or you can be a little more conservative. Do it that way. Push up your power. Push this down a little bit. And this right here just kind of helps mellow out the light. Awesome. Let's push up our emission a little bit more. And that's perfect. So we can go back to model mode. Click right here. Make sure that it's pointing down. So now we can actually move this. We're going to take this red one that's pointing to the right, and it'll let us move it back into place. I'm using A on my keyboard so I can move to the left. And now, once we go back to render, we have this. So I'm thinking I want to mess with the light a little bit more. Add a little bit more lighting to it, make it stronger. Maybe get rid of some of my LDR. What we're going to do next is to make our wood floor kind of shine a little bit, give it more of that realistic look. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on the next part.